When age fell upon the world, and wonder were now the minds of men, when grey cities reared to smoky skies, tall towers, grim and ugly, in whose shadow none might dream of the sun or of spring's flowering meads, when learning stripped the earth of her mantle of beauty, and poets sang no more of twisted phantoms, seen with bleared and inward-looking eyes. When these things had come to pass, and childish hopes had gone forever, there was a man who travelled out of life and on a quest into spaces whither the world's dreams had fled. Of the name and abode of this man little is written, for they were of waking world only. Yet it is said that both were obscure. It is enough to say that he dwelt in a city of high walls, where sterile twilight reigned, that he toiled all day among shadow and turmoil, coming home at evening to a room whose one window opened not to open fields and groves, but on to a dim court, where other windows stared in full despair. From that casement one might see only walls and windows, except sometimes when one leaned so far out and peered at the small stars that passed. And because mere walls and windows must soon drive a man to madness, who dreams and reads much, to dwell in that room, use night after night to lean out and peer aloft to glimpse some fragment of things beyond the waking world and the tall cities. After years he began to call the slow sailing stars by name, and to follow them into fancy when they glided regretfully out of sight, till at length his vision opened to many secret vistas whose existence no common eye suspected. And one night a mighty gulf was bridged, and the dream-haunted skies swelled down to the lonely watcher's window, to merge with the close air of his room, and to make him a part of their fabulous wonder. There came to that room wild streams of violet midnight glittering with dust of gold, vortices of dust and fire, swirling out of the ultimate spaces in heavy perfumes from far beyond the worlds. Opiate oceans poured there, lit by suns that the eye may never behold, and having in their whirlpools strange dolphins and sea nymphs of unrememberable depths. Noiseless infinity eddied around the dreamer, and wafted him away without touching the body that leaned stiffly from the lonely window. And for days not counted in men's calendars, the tides of far spears that bore him gently to join the course of other cycles that tenderly left him sleeping on a green sunrise shore, a green shore fragrant with lotus blossoms and starred by red gamatos. In the valley of Nis the accursed waning moon shines thinly, tearing a path for its light with feeble horns through the lethal foliage of a great upas tree. And within the depths of the valley, where the light reaches not, move forms not meant to be beheld. Rank is the herbage on each slope, where evil vines and creepy plants crawl amidst the stones of ruined palaces, twining tightly about broken columns and strange monoliths, and heaving up marble pavements laid by forgotten hands. And in trees that grow gigantic in crumbling courtyards leap little apes, while in and out of deep treasure vaults writhe poisoned serpents and scaly things without a name. Vast are the stones which sleep beneath the coverlets of dank moss, and mighty were the walls from which they fell. For all time did their builders erect them, and in sooth they yet serve nobly, for beneath them the grey toad makes his habitation. At the very bottom of the valley lies the river, than whose waters are slimly and filled with weeds. From hidden springs it rises, and to subterranean grottos it flows, so that the daemon of the valley knows not why its waters are red, nor whither they are bound. The genie that haunts the moonbeams spake of the daemon of the valley, saying, I am old and forget much. Tell me the deeds and aspect, the name of them who built these things of stone. And the daemon replied, I am memory, and am wise in lore and of the past, but I too am old. These beings were like the waters of the river then, not to be understood. Their deeds I recall not, for they were but of the moment. Their aspect I recall dimly. It was like to that of the little apes in the trees. Their name I recall clearly, for it rhymed with that of the river. These beings of yesterday were called man. So the genie flew back to the thin-horned moon, and the daemon looked intently at the little ape in a tree that grew in the crumbling courtyard.